Welcome to this special edition of the Broad Street Sports Podcast featuring special guest Joe Broll. What's going on, man?
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. We're going to start off by kicking off with some basketball. We're going to talk some NBA, and then with March Madness, Sweet 16 coming up soon after we had the round of 64 and 32. So we'll kick it off with March Madness. What are your thoughts on the tournament so far, and like what has excited you the most watching?
What excited me the most, Zach, has to be all these Cinderellas. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody expected Oakland to beat Kentucky. Like I didn't. I had
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky going to the Elite Eight in my bracket, so that really
Mm-hmm.
messed me up there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, everybody's playing to their potential. Like you got Kentucky and Duke, like doing what they got to do. NC State's a big shocker to everyone. The
Mm-hmm.
11th seed,
Yeah.
especially beating Texas Tech. I know some people had them going all the way.
And definitely, like for me, I had Kentucky in my national championship, so that completely screwed me over. And
Oh,
yeah, but then I picked teams like NC State and Oregon, and that's power forward for NC State. I don't know if you've seen him, but like he's like 300 plus pounds, and he plays power forward for him. He's so dominant in the paint. He made such a difference for them in that game. It's just like insane. And I just like overall with the tournament, it's like you don't know what to expect from these teams. I feel like the one seeds that you know you can have confidence in go out and show up when they need to do it. Like for example, the reigning champions UConn, they handled their business. They didn't mess around at all. Then you had North Carolina. They haven't messed around. Gonzaga, they've looked good. So these teams that
yeah,
like you said, that know their potential have not been messing around in any way. They've been showing the potential that they have and know they can get to the national championship and win it all.
yeah. Like I'm looking at the brackets now. There's only one, maybe two teams that are outside the top five that are actually in the Sweet 16, and the
Yeah.
only team that is like we said before, NC State, and everybody else is in the top five. So like everybody who's been up there, like they're not playing down to anybody's level. They know that they can go out there and win. Everybody wants UConn. Like everybody wants to go back and go get UConn. Nobody wants to see a repeat. But yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
what a save by Harrison.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No,
Sorry.
you're
I know we're
good.
talking about March
Yeah.
Madness, but
Yeah. This fly.
that was a good tic tac toe play there.
Yeah. The Flyers. This is must win for them right now because points are at a minimum, and to stay in that
Yeah.
race, to stay in the race, they need to stay in the third for the division, or they might fall off.
Yeah, they're in the wild card spot right now, right, Zach? Even if they
They would play the Hurricanes right now in the first round because they're third in the Metropolitan, which means they're still in the playoffs, but not technically in the wild card.
yes.
Yeah,
And if they win tonight, they're 3-3-1 in their gauntlet.
yeah,
Like you can't complain about that, especially with the fucking Eagles. Sorry, I don't know if I let the cursing.
you're good,
Sorry.
you're good. No, but
The Eagles when they went through their gauntlet, you know
hmm
what happened there. Let's
yeah,
just hope the Flyers can, you know, not do what
yeah.
they did and stay with what they're doing.
And then winning against these big teams definitely help because with such a young team, having the experience to like win these big games and then possibly getting to the playoffs will help even more. So.
Yeah, especially in a city like Philly, like everybody's gonna come out, make Wells Fargo as loud as they can, try to get in the other goaltender's head. It's just a good city to play in, and
mm.
other people's been saying other teams in every sport. What's the worst place to come to and play against? It's Philly. Nobody wants to be here. We are douchebags. We don't. It it's it's just the Philly way.
Yeah, it's like people don't understand Philly fans if they're not a Philly fan, but if you're a Philly fan, you understand like you consider it love and like the passion like you give to the city, but then
Yeah,
people outside of it just like see it as
think
being
we're being
obnoxious.
yes.
hmm But yeah, but like going back to like basketball real quick, but like you said with UConn, like the reason you watch Martin Madness every year is to see these teams like have like or what I'm trying to get at here is like you see a new team every year like come to the top. Like the team that won last year, they're still there, but there's that new team that uh, rises above them and can end up winning the championship. And I think for me personally, that's going to be North Carolina this year. I feel like they had the roster, they had the team to do it. But what about for you?
Yeah, I mean, my pick right now it has to be like in all is I think Arizona's finally gonna mount to what they can truly become.
hmm
Like I know they've been struggling getting over that hump recently, but I don't think UConn is gonna get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I think they got too much on their plate with trying to go back to back. And then on the other side, I think Creighton, it's gonna be Arizona Creighton.
in the national
Like everybody's
championship.
talking yeah, because
Uh,
Purdue, they choke every year.
yeah,
At this point, it's coming down to their final one or two games. They're not making it to the final four.
yeah, and this is Eddie's final year, their center, so it's all or nothing for him now. So
Yeah.
it's like if they've shown in the past they're not able to win, and it's like when you show year after year after year you can't win in the big moments, there's not going to be any trust for you when it actually matters again and again. So yeah, but and then just talking about some NBA, we're like weeks away from the NBA playoffs starting.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the season as a whole? And then what are you looking forward to in the playoffs?
I was like, to be honest with you, I don't really watch basketball as much as I do other sports,
Yeah,
just because I don't find them as entertaining as I
yeah,
would others. But I'm looking out. I pay attention here and there. I hear you talk about it throughout school and how they're going in homeroom.
hmm
I mean, from what I hear and what I see, since then the Sixers aren't a bad team. They're above 500. That's all you could ask for. They're in the playoff spot. That's all
hmm
you could ask for.
yeah,
Um, like you can't be mad at the way things are going.
yeah,
Like Embiid went down early. We have a lot of injuries. Like, I, sure, we could have made one or two moves at the deadline to help secure a playoff spot, but I'm happy they went out there got Lowry. Even
yeah,
though he's a little older, he's proven maybe not with how much points, but with his assists and defense on what he can give up to us. And then when Embiid comes back, we got multiple shooters now that we got at the deadline that they can't double team Maxi, they can't double team Embiid. That it's going to be more spread out. It's going to help spread out the floor. Like right now, I'm looking at it. They're lined up to play the Heat, and that's always a big game with Jimmy buckets on the other side.
yeah.
But yeah,
And then for like me personally, I feel like that the Sixers, this was finally a team that meshed well and was two Embiid's strengths. You had the star next to them, and then you had the role players, the three AD guys. Like for example, Batum, when Embiid was healthy, Batum was able to be that in the corner guy, always knocking it down because Embiid was able to space him so well and get him so much open looks that he was just able to knock it down. And you can see taking out and be the player of his caliber, it makes a huge impact. Even though Maxi's been stepping up, the biggest story of this team right now is the Tobias Harris. It's plain and simple.
yeah,
His inability to not step up and be the second star. It's been Kelly Oubre except for Maxi. If you think about it, Maxi and Oubre have been running the show. Oubre, once he's like been back and back in the full swings, he's been that player for the Sixers behind Maxi to drop like 16, 17 numbers that we need Tobias Harris to drop, and he's
yes.
not.
And let's hope when the playoffs come around, like we've seen this before, Embiid might come back. Tobias can't be in that shadow like he was at the beginning of the season.
hmm
He needs to stay hot and ride that wave. Hopefully, maybe go on a good deep playoff run.
Yeah. Because, like, you know what you're going to get out of guys like Maxey and Embiid. Maxey is a certified all star. He was an all star this year.
Yes.
He's going to be your second star and your foreseeable future star for years to come. Embiid, you got to utilize the years you have with him left because you saw injuries like this. If you keep getting them and getting them like he has, it's going to eventually lead to a shorter career. And you got to minimize it because he's been part of this team for so long and all the effort and work he's put onto this team to try to win him a championship. You got it. He's the type of player you have to win with because he deserves it.
Yeah. And like especially coming off the bench, like Oubre, like he's had an outstanding year. Like you
Hmm.
wouldn't expect that from somebody. It's tragic what happened to him at the beginning of the year with the
Yeah,
motorcycle accident. Imagine if that didn't happen, how much good the Sixers could have won. We could have won a couple more games. Maybe
yeah,
some things go certain ways, but yeah, like all these bench guys need to step up now and hopefully get us a championship soon.
yeah. Because he was on fire that beginning of the season. Like I saw this stat at the beginning of the year. Like we won 16 or 17 straight games. We had like one loss with him before he got like the motorcycle accident happened. Like he was making such an impact on this team, and then B just looked dominant. And B was averaging like 35 a game before he got hurt, and it's just like I feel the Sixers. This is like a Sixers team that meshed well and was playing well. They were this team fully healthy at the beginning of the season. Like after the Harden trade was made and we made all the pieces we needed to, it was a top three team in the East behind the Bucks and the Celtics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Zach.
yeah. So then we'll just get off basketball here. So speaking of which, we'll just talk about hockey now. Yeah, where
Dang.
the Flyers just took a 2-0 lead on the power play. So this is huge right now for the Flyers. It would be a huge
This
win,
is huge.
especially
Big
be
2 points.
yeah, especially being in the Rangers, a type of caliber team that's going out for a president's trophy right now. Just to beat them would get the energy back in this locker room. So just moving on to hockey, like with the Flyers playing right now and how they played all season, what could you see them doing if they're able to get into the playoffs?
I mean, judging off what I've seen the past, like I've been watching them all year, but what
Same.
I've been seeing, especially in these past few games, they're limiting shot opportunities, like holding the Rangers to 12 shots through 1.5 ish minutes and periods is good. They only held Florida to not that to like sub 30 the other day,
Yeah.
and I think with Emerson and net that against Florida, we would have definitely won that game.
Yeah. Because I that's been the story. Like speaking of, like you said, Earson, that's been the story. This offense has been on a tear, but it's like you've seen these games the past couple weeks. They were especially when they were in Boston a couple weeks ago. They lost 7-6. Their offense was on a tear. It was the goaltending that's the problem, and that's what I feel like is going to haunt them in the playoffs. Not having a backup goalie because Earson as a
Emerson
rookie
can't start.
Earson's as a rookie has been phenomenal, but having to throw him into a fire as a starter with the whole Carter Hart situation, it sucks for him. But he's been playing well, but then you're getting no production out of the backup.
Yeah.
So
But did you hear Alexei Kulov is coming? I think.
yeah, because I feel like, yes, like you said with him, I think they need any type of spark right now, even if it's like a young guy, because they need anybody that's been better than what they've trying to put out there with the backup goalie because now it's affecting them as a whole because them not winning these games it matters so
Yes. Especially did Washington did they win yesterday or
I
the other day?
I think they're playing right now but they're like two or
Yeah,
three
they're
point
tied. They're tied.
yeah, they're 2 or 3 points behind us so yeah but and then talking about the rest of hockey like what have you like the best so far about this hockey season what are you expecting to see from every team in the playoffs.
I like the fact that it's not other than like the Rangers and the Golden Knights and Canucks, like that are blowing these other teams out of the weather point wise, it's a pretty tight playoff race.
Mhm.
Like like you don't know who's gonna win. Like
Yeah.
it's only a 2 point difference between Flyers and Capitals, a 6 point difference between Islanders, and a sub 10 difference from the Flyers and Devils.
Yeah.
So you don't know who's gonna get that last seed. Then not even talking about that, going into if you're talking about wild card, that's another like one, two
Mhm.
point separation difference. So like every team's gotta like win and do their best, like coming down their final 10, 9, 10, 11 games, because you never know what's gonna happen. The team could get cold. The We know what happened at the beginning of the season. The Islanders went on a good 10 game win streak. Like you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because it's like the Flyers, I felt like they were surprising a lot of people in the beginning of the season, but then they had their cool down, like every team really has. And then they've been like, they had their hot streak, and then they've been 50-50. I feel like, the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But I
But
feel,
that's explanatory.
hmm
We had a few injuries with Tippett. Drysdale's a big injury, especially
yeah,
after trading for him.
yeah, which he's been a
Um,
great piece on this defensive side.
yes.
hmm
Konechny went out for a few games.
Yeah,
Sanheim, York, like
it's just like injuries, but this team, I feel like if they get that playoff experience, it's going to help them even more with it, especially with the
yes.
team that wasn't expected to do much. It's just going to help these younger guys, especially, have experience in there and like get the
And adapt to
atmosphere.
the playoff atmosphere.
hmm
Yes.
And then they can spread it on to these other players coming up, like Mitchkoff in a couple years. Once he comes over, if we're already a
Oh, we're gonna
winning,
be unstoppable.
if we're already a winning team at that point, that's going to be insane and going to help the team even more because you bring that type of superstar over to this team and they're already having that winning culture, winning atmosphere. That's just going to make him want to play to his best potential even more.
Yeah.
So,
And what
yeah,
about Connor Bedard, man? Wanting to trade out of Philly. I know this was a while ago, but I'm on the podcast now, so gotta talk about it. Oh, is he gonna get his ass booed when he comes to Philly?
yeah,
Holy, holy man, this guy is gonna get torched.
yeah. Guthrie, you talking about Guthrie?
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah,
was
you thinking
thinking
the
about the wrong
Blackhawks
guy.
rookie?
Yeah,
Yeah, but Guthrie, it's like I feel like if he didn't want to be here, that's fine. It's like
but you don't tell the coach you can't be like that. Like if you're at the interviews and all that, you don't be saying all that because now you're just wasting our time and our picks.
yeah. But hey, I feel like we got a good piece back in Drysdale.
Yeah, we got Drysdale on the pick. I mean, you can't.
And he's still young, Drysdale. It's not like he's older and we're not going to have him. We could probably have Drysdale playing once Guthrie plays. I think what it came down to is Guthrie was ready to come over. He wanted to come and play, but I think Tortorella told him you weren't ready and like you're still young, so you should still go play at like Boston College. And I don't think he wanted to hear that. So as soon as he heard that, he was like fed up and tired. And it's like you have a city like like they were building the future. It was supposed to be him and Mitchkoff, the dynamic duo right there. But now with him gone, it's like that's a decision he wanted to make, and I just hope it haunts him because this is a great hockey town, and he could have really been a great player in this league if he wanted to stay here. But it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But then moving over to let's get to the final two subjects. We're going to talk about a little bit of football. So we've had free agency. I've done like one podcast just recapping. But what are your thoughts on free agency so far and the teams that with the teams moves have been so far will affect the draft.
Well, it it'll be an understatement to say that it's been a crazy all season so
Mm-hmm.
far. All like Eagles moving around, making some major. They filled all the positions they needed to get.
Mm-hmm.
They needed a running back. You could have re-signed your a guy like
Swift.
Swift. You could
Yeah.
like you could have. He's a great running back, but instead you let him go. You get a you get a running back for 3 years in Barkley, who's I would say a little bit better than Swift,
Mhm.
but like we'll see. He's still injury prone. That's my only thing about him. He's been injured,
Mhm.
but they fill in what they need at the linebacker position.
Yeah.
They get picks. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Justin Fields. Like,
Yeah.
but like Kenny Pickett will do. At least we have a guy in there who has some sort of
Mhm.
starting. But yeah,
Yeah. Cause like.
obviously we didn't need no help on the D line either. Like we've been stacking that room up since
Mhm.
what? Who knows when?
Yeah, but I feel like this offseason really showed Howie Roseman was willing to change his philosophy. He's never paid a running back big money before. He did it. He's never paid a linebacker a good amount of money. He did it. He brought back a guy in CJ Gardner Johnson whose attitude and swagger was missed in this locker room last year, and you locked him down long term. Howie Roseman knows that this team had a historic fall last year and is needing to change the philosophy in order for them to get back to the Super Bowl because they had the team to do it.
Yeah, like in general, like every team's been making big signings. They needed what they needed to get, so it's shaping up to be a good NFL season. Like
Hmm.
I feel like every division, every team has a shot at winning it. Like I don't think like obviously teams aren't gonna perform as well as you think, but I honestly don't think like any most teams are gonna go like -4 wins.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. So, but like with the draft coming up, it definitely shows a lot with these teams, like the moves they're willing to make, especially with the Bears. Like the move they made with trading Keenan Allen opened everybody eyes to thinking, wow, like it's made it pretty simple on what their plan is to do, and it's going to draft Caleb Williams number one overall. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think they should have kept Fields and tried to build the offense around him with drafting Marvin Harrison number one overall, or do you think it's a smart decision drafting Caleb Williams and drafting him into this offense with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, and Cole Kmet?
I think from the Bears standpoint, you've had Fields for a couple years now. You're like, all right, we're on the horizon and we need a couple more pieces get to get us over that ledge, to get us into another playoff spot. Fields is still developing.
Mm-hmm.
So if their attitude is a win now, let's make it to the playoffs, I have no idea why they're doing this.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, yes, he's a good quarterback in college, but we've seen it time and time again. They need people to to learn from. Like Mac Jones, really good college player, comes over. We've seen him.
Yeah.
Like it speaks for itself. You got Trevor Lawrence. Yes, he's on the but like he hasn't done anything. Yes, he's gotten the Jags to a winning record and a nice little playoff spot here and there. But once again, Jags are doing what they need to build around him, and he's
Yeah.
allowing them. That's the one thing the Bears couldn't do. They didn't have when he went in there. The Bears had what Andy Dalton as a backup.
Yeah. They weren't even
That's
planning.
not
Dude, they weren't even
yeah.
planning to
That's not a
start
good
him.
guy to learn from.
Yeah, and it's
Like
like.
Andy Dalton's a good quarterback, but he's a backup. So
Hmm.
like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be good in a couple years. Russell
Yeah.
Wilson's going to teach them. It's like the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love.
Oh
Packers knew what they
yeah.
were doing.
It could even be. It could even be this season because it's like if knowing Russell Wilson's reputation the past couple of years, if he sucks this year, fans are going to be wanting Fields on the field itself. And I feel like with the offense around him, I feel like having George Pickens, they're going to draft a receiver, I think, in like the second round, possibly the first round, having Fryermuth, Najee, and then signing Cordell Patterson today. I feel like the Bears, they gave up on Fields way too early. They finally got him that number one receiver last year because at the end of the day, you want to have a good quarterback, but in order to do that, you need to draft offensive line because you could have kept Fields and then you still have the eighth overall pick in the draft. You could have taken a top tier offensive lineman with that eighth pick.
Yes.
So, yeah, but anything else you want to talk about for NFL? You want to move on to MLB opening day?
I mean, hopefully the don't want to see the Chiefs win another Super Bowl.
Tell
It's
me
getting
about it.
boring. It's
Yeah.
getting boring. Like nothing against them. It's just getting boring at this point. Like just
Mm-hmm.
seeing them. Hopefully, like a team like a young Packers team make some moves.
Yeah.
Like we seen them. Like we saw what they're capable of this year. They almost knocked out the 49ers. A few calls go their way and a few plays
Yeah.
go their way. We're looking at maybe Packers Lions. We don't know what they would have done
Yeah.
riding that underdog story like the Eagles. We've seen what happened in 2017, 2018 when
Yeah.
that happened. Like it's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Like in every sport, like the Phillies did it, the Diamondbacks did it last year. If you play the underdog, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
Not like
because
one of these one seeds.
if you think about it, it's like these teams, like you said, they have nothing to lose. They're trying to fight just to get some experience in there. But the Packers, they're trying to see what they have in Jordan Love. They brought in Josh Jacobs. He's a good running back. And then they're building this defense with Xavier McKinney. And then they still have these young receivers who are developing. Romeo Dobbs was good. Jaden Reed was an amazing rookie. And then Christian Watson could be your future number one receiver because he's shown great strides of being that. You have a young team, and then you still have Jordan Love, who's relatively young, and you could groom into being a top 15, top 10 quarterback in this league if they play well. And if you think about it, the Lions are their only real competition in the division. The Bears, I don't see Caleb Williams being that much of an impact, so much so that they win the division, but they could still make a threat. But I feel like at the Packers, they've shown the potential they've had, and if they just keep doing what they're doing, they could be a top team next year. So,
Yes.
but then moving on, we'll talk about some MLB since we got opening day in 2 days. We got opening
Yeah,
day
let's
on
get it.
March 28th. Phillies opening up the season against the Atlanta Braves. We got Zach Wheeler on the bump for the Phils and Spencer Strider on the bump for the Braves. What are you looking forward to with baseball being
Oh,
back?
I'm looking forward to just going to the games, man.
Yeah,
Just a just a different atmosphere.
yeah,
Like I don't know what it is. Just being in that ballpark is so it's fun,
yeah. No,
especially if they make it to October.
without a
Oh
doubt, because it's like the Phillies. They've been so fun the past couple of years, especially in 2022 with the run they had. It's like they it's like crazy with what they've done like the past couple of years. They've looked terrible to begin the year. They catch fire and then they almost win the World Series. They were in the championship series last year and then they were 2 wins away from the World Series the year before that.
yeah,
This team is built to win now because you have the superstar, you have the star of the show in Bryce Harper. If Trey Turner can build off the second half season he had last year, Castellanos, Schwarber, Real Muto, young guys like Bohm, Marsh, Stott, and then you got guys like Merrifield who could be a serviceable utility man. And then what you have to see what you have in Johan Rojas. Can he develop that bat? Can he be an offensive impact on that side of the ball? Because he's already good on defense. Once you can groom him into a guy that can hit in the 260s, 270s, there you already have a player that you can start every day in center field. And you already have Schwarber at DH, which is a great decision. Get him out of the outfield because you'll get more athletic guys there and just let Schwarber rake.
yeah, yeah. Especially Rojas. Like last year when they were playing the Diamondbacks in that game 7, we're sitting there like Rojas is 0 for 2, 0 for 3, swinging at basically having the same outcome as Castellanos the season before, where he's swinging at strikes way out of the zone.
Mhm.
I'm like, bring in Pache. Like, he has a good bat.
Yeah.
Like, especially in a time like this, you can't have these outs. And at that time, they were up 1 run. Like, you need these insurance, especially
Yeah.
against that young team of the Diamondbacks, which, like we were talking earlier, were the underdog team. They
Mhm.
had nothing to lose. Like, they caught fire, and like the Phillies the year before
Yeah.
made it to the World Series.
Mhm. And we're like a couple wins away from actually winning it. So
Yeah,
yeah. But then
basically did the exact same thing.
let's go over to the pitching side, which is definitely a discussion. Do you think they get that? You think they go out? The discussion's been Jordan Montgomery the past couple days, with possibly Taijuan Walker starting the season on IR and just needing that uh, glove in the rotation. Do you think there's a chance we could go out and sign him before the season or like on opening day?
I'm hoping they get him as soon as they can. And
Yeah.
other teams are definitely calling him. He doesn't want to miss any of the time in the season. Obviously, he's already missed all camp, so he's going to take time to get back warmed up. You know what I mean? He's not going to start off hot like we've seen with pitchers. That's the whole point of spring training, to get
Mhm.
your back into the feel of it. But like, yeah, you go out, you get a guy like Montgomery, and you have a, a your starting forward looking
Mhm.
like gold. You
Yeah.
got your pitchers in Wheeler and Nola, who Wheeler is considered a Cy Young candidate every year. Nola coming
Yeah.
off of 2 straight hot seasons. Then you got your three in Ranger Suarez, who's uh one, it's a lefty pitcher, which is good because you need him. Two, one one of and not if not the best fielding pitcher.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the best defensive pitchers out there.
Yeah.
And then if you throw a guy in like Montgomery, like that's just another good. Like, he's a good four guy. And then Walker, I'm pissed off about. Like,
Yeah.
you see how well he did in the season before,
Mhm.
and in the season, but you don't use him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, that had to strike his confidence up.
Yeah, because
Like,
like he led the team in wins. Like he had so many wins, and his ERA was like average. Like he got you serviceable innings. Like in the postseason, you want to get serviceable innings out of your pitcher because then you're relying on your offense. Because with that superstar of an offense, you know they can produce, and then you get Taijuan Walker 5 6 innings, maybe allows 1 or 2 runs. That's good enough for an offense with the Phillies to go out and win the game.
yeah, not even that. Like, I'm not mad if you like, especially since he's get allowing these 4 or 5 runs in the first inning, getting your team down. But you throw a bullpen game,
Yeah,
especially against a team like the Diamondbacks. You could have used Walker, ate up some innings, and then you could go to Wheeler the next day, and you know Wheeler's going to go out and win that bump. You could have had your Walker going up against their bullpen, shut down a few innings. Like, you never
yeah,
know what could have happened if they made a few adjustments.
yeah, definitely. And then I'm excited to see what we have in Christopher Sanchez this year because I think because towards the end of the back rotation, if we don't sign Montgomery, he could be a five guy for us and possibly in the bullpen. I'm excited for him. What about you?
Yeah, Sanchez, another lefty. Look, look, he had a good season. He was our five, but he came up big in times. Like, what what you need in your five is to eat up innings, save your bullpen, especially coming down the stretch. Like, you need them.
Yeah,
I'm hoping the Phillies actually, like, if they don't get Montgomery and all that, go get Bauer.
yeah,
Like, he said he wants to play. Like, I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. He's looking good.
yeah,
Like, he said he doesn't want much money. He just wants to be out there.
yeah. Because
Like,
yeah, that's the name I've been hearing around school. Like everybody wants Bauer. Like he would be a great piece, and it's like he's been out of the league for a while, and I feel like he can come back in here, and then that team gives him that chance. He's just gonna work more and more to show that team that giving him that chance was 100% worth it.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially since he knows that this could be his last season.
Mhm.
Like that's what pisses me off. Like with things like with people making up false accusations about like it ruined his whole career. Like he was on fire with the Dodgers. He was looking good, and then all of a sudden news came out, and now he's been gone for 2 years.
Yeah.
Killed it in Japan last year. Looking at his numbers, came up good, and he would be once again a good inning eater guy. Like not save our bullpen. Don't have to throw a bullpen game in like a World Series or a divisional round. Like you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just kills us.
Yeah, definitely. And then but like anything else you want to talk about for the Phils or baseball as a whole or
Now I think we
Mhm.
covered everything.
Yeah. Well, that's probably gonna wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for coming on, Joe. Really appreciate
Yes,
it.
thanks for allowing me.
Yeah, got some good intake on each side. Got a good conversation going. But other than that, that's gonna wrap up today's episode. Thanks again for Joe for coming on. And other than that, you guys have a good night.